Welcome to the Retro Quins, as I'm calling them, all the old school models from back in the day. So I'm going to talk you through my army and see what it's all about. So they, the troop, not troop, what do they call it?
The mask?
The faction, the mask is Frozen Stars. They get +1 on the attacks. So what I've got is 2 troops carrying fusion pistols, which is kind of what's been rumoured. They'll be sitting in my Harlequin boats. These have a special rule that means that they can be, the troops can actually shoot out of them. I forget what it's called, Baz, do you remember? It's like a...
Open top?
Open top, yeah, it's open top, rather than normally being enclosed and can't do anything. I've got some Sky Weavers, not to be confused, everything's got the same name. Star Weavers, Sky Weavers. So the Sky Weavers are my 5 bikes with Shuriken. So I'll be firing off 15 shots as long as they all survive. I've got, then I've got my characters. Basically, I've got my Troop Master, my Death Jester, my, I'm trying to remember all the names.
Solitaire.
That's my Solitaire. And the last character is the Shadow Seer. So Psyker, elite, on his own, go out and trash. Just an elite with a big gun, and a troop master who's fairly critical to my army. So that's it. Tiny in comparison to what you're about to see.
Hi, Harvey.
Okay, and here are Tyranids. So we are heading up this army with old One Eye with his big crushy claws, and then he's got 2 Carnifexy mates with wonky scything talons. So this guy doesn't have a gun, so there's no shooting in this squad at all. He's got a bit of a special rule, which basically means if he's within 3 inches of either of these, he can't be attacked, which is quite nice for him. I have got a 10-man squad of Hormigants, which are fast, just stabby guys, no guns. I've got 2 3-man squads of Tyranid warriors. Again, there's no guns in that squad, only stabbies. I've got 2 10-man squads of Turdmugants. They are just going to be lots of models. I have double-barreled shooty Hive Tyrant, so he's got 2 double-barrel guns and then a big 6-shotter there as well, so he's there for shooting. And then my deep strikers are Lictor and a little squad of Rippers, and that is it. Right, Tyranids got turn 1, and basically Matt redeployed everything, so he started his deployment with a very fair spread, but he's actually ended up moving most of his army down the far side of the board. I was quite lucky to get turn 1, to be honest. Lottie rolled me a 6 because my Hive Tyrant would definitely have been in some trouble, but fortunately, so Matt then deployed away from him. So I've shuffled up, I've absolutely bombed up the board with my Termagants to go and sit on the objective marker over there just to grab hold of one. And basically sitting on the others over here. I have managed to sneak, he had his Shadow Seer sitting behind the building over there, and my Hive Tyrant did manage to get a bead on him, so we managed to take him out in shooting in turn 1. And everybody else has just moved up, so I've managed to score an Assassinate, 3 points for Assassinate and 3 points for Domination, which is having more objectives at the end of my turn. But now it is Matthew's turn 1. End of Harlequins turn 1. Matthew would talk us through.
Not the best, unfortunately, and I don't actually genuinely believe I can win the game at the end of turn 1. So what's happened is an absolute mess of dice rolling. I've taken out David's Termagants that had rolled up the board. I've taken out his Tyranids, but I've had to use a lot of CP to be able to burn that. I started well over here. My Warlord has already died and given away some more points to David. I've hit him for a few wounds, but everything else that followed thereafter, I just did some really, really bad dice rolling, and this will be gone in a second. So I think I'll actually only be left with 4 models. And David still, as David has lost...
2 units. I've already lost 2
units. So, and he's still got some deep strike to come on, which could come on this turn, isn't it? Is that another?
I've got 2 20 units. 2 10-man units, a Lictor and the Rippers.
Yeah. Not the best.
End of Tyranids turn 2. So basically on this side of the board, we managed to push up and basically just managed to kill the gunboat. Matt he used a CP, he had 1 dice to roll a 4 or more to save it basically, and he didn't roll it, which meant the guys had to come out, and that then meant I could charge in. If he hadn't have failed that dice, I wouldn't have been able to get into combat with the guys, and he'd have had a turn of his fusion pistols at me, which would not have been very friendly. So I've kind of got away with it a little bit over here. I managed to make a 9-inch charge with my Hormigans, which came on from the board. I managed to charge into his solitaire there, so I've managed to take him out as well. So I have killed all of Matthew's characters bar 1, which is sitting down there at the moment. And it's looking quite strong for Tyranids at the moment. It's Matty's turn 2. Harlequin turn 2. Matthew?
It was a quick one, so I don't have much. I just moved my boat over here, took out the troops with some shots with the Death Jester and what everything was in there. It was 10 Hormigans. And I had 15 shots into this. It had 4 wounds. It's still got 1 left. That would have made a slight difference this turn, but overall I now only have, I suppose, 4 things. 1, 2, 3, and there's a troop in there. Yeah, I think I'm miles behind on points.
So both people had 2 turns. Matt's on 12. I'm on 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. But I'm about to pick up quite a few, I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Tyranid turn 3.
Tyranid turn 3. So just slightly pushed up with Termagants here. Brought Hive Tyrant back, shot across to the boat and took 3 wounds off, I think.
2.
2 wounds off. Just consolidated in here. Continued messing about over there, which is basically trying to score me points. Charged in with a Carnifex and managed to take 1 out. But they're surprisingly resilient, and they got a bit unlucky, didn't manage to do any wounds off me. So it wasn't that eventful, and it's Matt's turn 3.
So I flipped out with the bikes from combat, which is a move the Harlequins can do. Put them to here, took a couple of shots, charged and cleared out the Ripper squad.
They did not last long.
And then played the CP to go across to here because I'd moved the fusion boat over here to have a pop at this and failed with every single hit.
It was very poor.
And then I also had some extra shots. I'm just trying to remember.
The Termagants all went there, didn't they?
This guy...
You had a bunch off here as well.
A couple off here, shot there as well. And this guy did really well actually this turn. So he had took 8 of them out, I think, something like that. So yeah, struggling on.
So Tyranid turn 4. So there's only 1 more after this. So I have charged in with my Carnifex here, and I've taken the boat out with a little bit of shooting and some hand-to-hand combat. I've just moved across. I've put my Lictor in here. I've moved off of the objective just because I wanted some shots down at the Death Jester, of which I did take him back down to 1 wound, but I failed to kill him. And now Matt's going to have a turn of shooting some fusion pew-pew guns at me.
So my best turn of the game. So where David had taken out the boat, these guys jumped out, so still holding for the moment, but the fusion pistols finally broke the back of a Carnifex, so that's great, literally. My Death Jester came to here, just took I think he took a wound or 2, which probably helped in the end. No, actually, I think these guys had it covered.
They did it, yeah.
But I managed to hold a couple of objectives, and then my bikes advanced to here, shot. I don't think they actually did anything.
No.
And then charged in and took
Exactly 4 wounds.
Exactly 4 wounds, which was a bit lucky. And yeah, managed to get the Warlord, which was great because that was also my 6 points for my
Secondary
objective. So I finally got him right at the end. So yeah, it's all right. I mean, the game's done, but a little moment for me.
Right, last turn for the Tyranids coming up.
Absolutely awesome turn for me there. Basically, I moved across here and failed to charge with everything on those because I want them to shoot me really hard in the face with fusion pistols. And that is literally it. He can't do anything, so I'm just standing about, tyranniding it up.
So some fusion, but nothing really happened there. A couple of wounds, and all I did was take off the Licto. Had 1 wound left, so I picked up some more points for being across the board and taking out a bit more. David, so the end result was David had 75 points and I had 64, so definitely brought it back to respectable. We were just talking through the game. David thinks I could have won it I did do a bit of a crazy charge, but for me it worked out that it was worth the punts as I didn't get the first turn. But David equally halfway through the game could have just sat and not run his men round the board chasing me, which I think I was just outpacing you for movement and turning around and shooting. So I think all in all I think it was done in turn 1.
Who was your MVP? Shining Spears, Swooping Badgers.
They were great because they picked the Warlord off. But actually, in terms of how many points spent, that's 50 points, and he picked up.
Wow. Okay.
Quite a few objectives.
Yeah, excellent.
He didn't die, unlike the rest of them. The fusions were awful. What about you?
I'm going to go for Hannibal Lictor.
Yes.
Who basically plopped in at the back over there and scored me 15 points. Only got killed at the end. I think he was quite good. And poor old One Eye was bloody useless. Just couldn't get in there. Couldn't do anything. I suppose he was a decent deterrent, but yeah, basically did nothing all game. Excellent trudging about the board. So well done, mate.
Yeah, good game.
Another game. Not too late. Getting a bit quicker at this.
Yeah, what was that? We probably did that in 7, so 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, a bit quicker. Lovely. Right. See you later.